Hey everybody, Karen from Master Spirit Guides. I hope you're doing well today. So while I'm away on vacation, we are showing some fan favorites from 2025. So this particular video that we chose, that actually you guys chose, it's one of the top watched videos, has a lot packed into it, okay? We talked about the spiritual relationship between empaths and narcissists at that time, what it means to stand in our own power, and whether some of what we were seeing play out in the United States at that time could be understood by bully energy. We also talked about attached entities and the message involving Jesus that came through on that day, which is very cool. So as you watch, think about what happened, what has happened since then, okay? And because we're really curious, if you look at what happened then, what was being told to us then, what has happened since then, and what questions do you have today? Does it form any new questions for you that you may want to ask based on what Spirit told us then? Okay? If you do, leave them in the comments, and I will see you live when I get back. Okay, enjoy this. Good morning, bedheads. How's it going today? Click. Oh my gosh. I think this is by far the best bedhead I've ever had. It only happens when every other day I go to bed with my hair wet. If I do. Sometimes I just showered too late last night. Look at that. That's amazing. Anyways. Hi, if you're new here, I'm Karen from Ask the Spirit Guides, and this is Coffee with Karen. Click. What do you guys think of this mug? This is one of our newer mugs. I developed a series of, I think there's like 8 or 9 images. And I'm glad I ordered this because I didn't realize the V was a little too far away from the E. So I'm going to fix that before we put them up in the shop. But I wanted to create a little series that said "Hold the Vision" for those who were reading. If people are interested, having like a little reminder in our cupboards for the golden future. So hold the vision. It could be for anything really you're manifesting, but it was really for the golden future. So there's a bunch of different images. So we'll put them up in the shop, today or tomorrow, but. Okay, so let's see. So if you're new again to Coffee with Karen, I typically talk a little bit about something I've become aware of in the world, things going on politically right now, especially because there's it's such a tumultuous, I don't know how to say that word. You know what I'm talking about. It's such a wild time right now, let's just say. Can't find the word. And so I talk a little bit about that, and then we kind of go towards a little spiritual. We kind of shift it towards the spiritual journey, okay? And then I do have a message from the Pendulum, from our spirit guides. I keep forgetting that. I've been recently asking for a collective message. And I asked for something different today. I didn't want to hear anything more about Jack Smith. I'm like, enough of Jack Smith. Tell me something else. So they left us a really interesting message that I want to share with you. And then this is I have not pulled this deck out. I think one time I pulled this deck out in the Spirit Circle, which is the membership on the channel. And so I'm kind of excited to see. This is the deck they wanted me to use today. So to give us a message for today and a message related to the pendulum message they gave us. So if you're wondering what the pendulum is, when I get there, I'll give you a brief little, just for folks who are new. Okay, so a few things. Okay, I really think, this is my opinion, the world is doing such a good job with giving billionaires a message by poor Leon, but he has gotten I wouldn't say poor Leon, but you know what I mean. He's the one who's kind of taken a hit for them. I wish others would. At some point, I think last week I talked about P. Teal. I think he definitely needs to get the message from empaths. So I don't know how to do that, but I'm wondering now if collectively we should start shifting, keep the pressure on Leon, because I think that's great. But I would love to see us shift to faux news and really put the pressure on faux news. So F News, FOX News, Newsmax are two that I understand are not being honest. CNN, certain people. Apparently, somebody left a comment that Jake Tapper on CNN, who we used to trust immensely until the debate between F-45 and Biden, and the way that they handled that, we were like, what is going on? Like, that is what our cue was, that something was going on. I had no idea. Did you guys know? And in fact, I haven't really 100%. I think I confirmed this a while ago, so I hope I'm being accurate about this. Let me just double check. Okay, so I was under the impression that CNN was either owned or the CEO was far right and actually helped produce The Apprentice with F-45. So, however, I'll have to dig into that more, but it looks like the CEO is, where did it go? Mark Thompson, and which is interesting because he is Sir John Thompson. He's a British American media executive who's the chairman of the board of directors of Ancestry, which is interesting. He is ranked 65th most powerful person in the world by Forbes magazine. So I'm not 100% sure about his leanings, actually. So if anybody knows anything about that. But it became very clear that CNN, let me just see, The Apprentice, who produced The Apprentice? Oh, so something with Mark Burnett. Mark Burnett. Okay, so this is where I'm trying to be much more careful than I've been. We all need to be honest, you guys. Well, I don't know if we all need to be. How do I know? I don't know that. But I need to be. So when you see all these like headlines and stuff come across YouTube and then you get all upset about it, even just seeing like the people's clips. Well, there's always more to a story, right? So anyway, so Mark Burnett, who was the executive director of The Apprentice, who's also the executive director of Shark Tank, Survivor, and The Voice, which is a drag. Anyways, he's been appointed to serve as F-45 special convoy to the United Kingdom. So I don't see him actually connected to CNN, which I understood he to be. So this is just, I'm just showing you my process because and being honest, because I have not been 100% careful about looking into things before I've said things on here. So I'm going to start doing that more because I am more of a big picture person. So I kind of get the big picture and then I forget about the details sometimes. So you got to pay attention to the details, right? Just gave myself a hot flash. Okay. So anyways, sorry, I dragged that out a little bit. So I think I would really like to see us do something with Fox. And I know that Cliff Cash, who's on YouTube, I'll post his video below. They did a protest in front of F News, CNN, and NBC. I think it was all in the same building. Somebody had mentioned they're all in the same building. So they did a protest on Saturday in front of the building. I would love to see regular protests in front of those. And they're all over the state. I mean, they're all over every state. So even the local channels, we could put pressure on the local channels. And I think this is where I'm going to spend some of my time with the postcards, just to say, tell the truth and send postcards. Send them to all the anchors, tell the truth. We're watching. We're watching you, and we know you're not telling the truth. So start telling the truth, because, yeah, they have a little too much power right now. So I think we can put pressure there. The other thing I thought was interesting is, I don't know if you guys caught this news story. There is a senator in the state of Minnesota. Okay. So he's not a nationwide, he's not a federal senator, he's a state senator. And there apparently, according to this article and many others, I think there was quite a few articles on this, that there were 5 Republicans in Minnesota, which is a pretty blue state. 5 Republicans in Minnesota who created a bill called the Trump Derangement Syndrome Bill. Did you guys hear about this? Unbelievable. I mean, unbelievable. I mean, if I were in Minnesota, I would be so mad and be really on these guys' arses for spending our tax money this way. So I don't know if you guys heard about Trump derangement syndrome, but it's something that Trump started, saying that liberals have Trump derangement syndrome, and that these 5 Republicans wanted to introduce a bill to put it as a part of a mental illness. They wanted it categorized as a mental illness, which means everybody who's liberal has a mental illness, basically. So the follow-up to the story, well, then I thought, well, we should call it mega derangement syndrome. Again, it's actually the other way around. It's actually the other way. It's always the other way around. Anytime they're accusing, it's so weird. It's so narcissistic. That must be a narcissistic tendency, is to always blame the things you're doing on the other people, It's so bizarre. So, yeah, I think we should call it, I mean, it's like, okay, well, then there's mega derangement syndrome, Well, anyways, the follow-up to the story is apparently one of the senators was caught soliciting a 17-year-old by the police because he thought he was talking to a 17-year-old, and instead he was talking to the Minnesota police. So he has a family and 4 children. He has a wife and 4 children. So a little bit of karma coming back there. So anyways, the mega derangement syndrome, again, empaths, this is what I wanted to talk about today. This is like the crux of what I want to talk about today, because if you are interested in this topic, I'll post it below, but Tara Arnold, who channels Saint Germain, okay? So she's a channel. She's a human who channels Saint Germain, okay? And she has a great video called Empaths versus the Narcissists, okay? Or yeah, I think that's what it's called. I'll post it below in the description, okay? It's very enlightening. Now, I have a degree in social work and a degree in psychology, but it's been a very, very long time. That was like in the late 80s, early 90s where I got my degrees. But the empath, so from a spiritual perspective, just in a little bit of a nutshell of what Tara talks about, but please go listen to her if this topic interests you, because I think it's something we actually all probably deal with a little bit, the empath versus the narcissist. And I'm going to be very honest right now and tell you where there's a part where I've been a narcissist. So I don't think it's like for me, I don't think I'm just an empath. I think there have been time in my life where I've been a narcissist, because she describes it, or Saint Germain describes it, as the bully. So the narcissist is more of the bully. So if you've ever been a bully in your life, I've been a bully, not consciously and not deliberately, but I can remember, like, even in 5th grade being like getting bullied and then bullying, you know what I mean? But I've also, anyways, I'll tell you my honest and open story about me being a narcissist at times. Um, but I think what she talks about from a spiritual perspective is that and I think this is what's happening globally, okay, is that the bully, so the narcissist, can't awaken until the empath stands in their power. Let that sink in a minute. So the bully can't awaken until the empath stands in its power, okay, in their power, okay? So and then she also goes on, Saint Germain also goes on to explain that the narcissist spirit does want to awaken, but it's sitting there like it's giving the empath the opportunity to stand in its power. It's teaching the empath to stand in its power, in their power, okay? So until you do that, until we do that collectively and you do that in your own life, the narcissist can't awaken. And they're wanting to, their spirit wants to awaken. So I think that's really interesting, isn't it? And then the last, I just listened this morning again. This is about 3 weeks ago, her video posted, and I've been wanting to mention it. But I just started listening to it very briefly again today. And she did say the person, or Saint Germain said, the person who breaks you can't be the person that heals you. So just, keep that in mind if that helps you personally. But if we think about that from a global perspective, okay, the person who breaks us can't be the person who heals us. So if we think about that from in the US, so who's breaking us right now, right? Who's breaking the impasse? So for me, and I'm generalizing big time here, the MAGA movement is the narcissist, is the bully. Because, and I'm not saying everybody who voted for MAGA are bullies, because they're not. I think a lot of people thought they were watching accurate news, still do. They don't know who owns Fox and that it's actually Fox Entertainment, okay? But just the same way that I didn't realize that CNN was shifting their viewpoint on things until like late last year or like mid-year last year. I was like, what's going on here? However, I did use my discernment, and I wish people who watch F News would use their discernment a little bit more and be like, there's more to the story or what's going on here. So I think we, collectively, so we've got the collective bullies. So the collective bullies, we need to stand in our power, which is what we're doing. Okay. We need to stand in our power in order for them to awaken. Okay. So that's where we draw the line between like what kind of action do we take? So we need to show them. I mean, I do think we need to show them we're standing in our power. We can't just, back away and be afraid. Okay. We need to stand in our power. Otherwise, they can't spiritually awaken because that's their job. Their job is to help us spiritually awaken by standing in our power. And our job is to help them spiritually awaken by stop being a-holes. Okay. So I found that very fascinating. It's a really good higher perspective. Again, I talk about this from time to time, but I think I just talked about it a couple of days ago. In my bullet journal, I added a category called higher spiritual perspective, because I wanted to just capture some of these things that I have, these aha moments. And this is one of them. I'm going to put this in my highest spiritual perspective. So I've got, a few in there. Every once in a while, I'm like, oh, I want to separate that from my monthly perspectives that I that I capture. And I want to remember that there's just, like I do it's monthly March energy, but it's more like things I'm learning along the way. But I really want, I really want to, I'll continue to go back to this page. So anyways, I just think that's really fascinating. So what do you guys think about that? The empath versus the narcissist. So if you're wondering if like taking action, protesting, there's a part of me that's a little nervous about doing that kind of stuff. And I'm not standing in my power yet about that, and so it's like, okay, am I, or am I just being smart? I don't know. Am I just being smart, not entangling with it? So we're all grappling with these kind of things right now, So it's like, well, what part of it is, am I standing in my power? And what part of it am I backing away from my power? And what part of it am I entangling with the darkness? And what part of it am I entangling with the lightness? It's really this whole thing I find myself floating around in constantly. And I think that's okay. I think that's the journey. I think that's the spiritual journey that I'm just kind of learning for myself. So, all right. Another really interesting thing is we did a video, part 1 on ghosts last night, which really is spirits, you guys. I mean, it's spirits. I think we call them ghosts because we got into, it's like ghosts are the ones who haunt, because of movies and stuff like that. But it's really spirits. So I will post that video here. It'll pop up at the end of this video. So part 1 on ghosts. And it was answering, we have actually 2 parts because you guys had so many questions. They're just answering questions. My spirit guides are answering questions that you guys had in the community. So one of the interesting things that came up, though, is one of the questions was about entities, about like entities like in your home or something. So I gave an example of what one of the things that I do. Oh, I think it was like, can we ask them to go to the light, or can we ask them to leave, or whatever, or something like that. You'll have to listen to the video to find out more specifics on that. But so I gave an example of what I do if I feel like, or every once in a while, I'll check with my spirit guides using the dowsing rods. Okay. I'll check with them to see if I have an entity attached to me or another spirit. It's basically a spirit. Entity kind of sounds freaky. Because what happens is entities will attach to you because they like your energy. It could be when you're really happy, and it could be when you're really sad. Okay. So they feed off of that energy, and they might need it for themselves. Okay. So I have learned along my spiritual journey somewhere, I can't cite where I've learned this, because it's been a while, like 10 years since I learned this. But I have learned that if there is an entity in your space, or a spirit, or on you, that you can ask it to leave, and you can demand it to go to the light. Okay. So I demonstrate how to do that in this video. I actually have a couple other videos that I've done on the channel, but yesterday I pull out the SGs during this ghost conversation, and I'm like, well, let's just see, do I have an entity, attached to me right now? Because I haven't actually checked for a while. And I did. They're like, yes, you do. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I demonstrated in the ghost video how to get rid of it. Okay. So I did that. So I'm not going to do it here. You guys can watch up there. Okay. I just posted it yesterday in case I don't know, it depends on when you're watching this, but yesterday being the 18th of March, 2025. Okay. So anyway, so the little end of the story is, so one of our beautiful community members, I just love this because you guys, I just love you guys. I love how everybody is participating in the comments with their own experiences and giving alternative points of view, because it's really a community. This is, again, if you're new here, I always say I'm facilitating these conversations. I'm not an expert in any of this stuff. I just have my own life experience, and I'm facilitating conversation. Okay. So the real learning is from the community. Okay. So anyway, so Rachel, thank you for posting this because she said, "Oh, Karen, I wonder," because she had listened to Coffee with Karen yesterday and I was angry yesterday. I was like, I hate him. F45. I was really feeling a lot of hatred. Like, that's a strong word, and I was really feeling it. And Rachel said, I wonder if that's why you were feeling anger because of that thing attached to me. And you know what? I have to say, you are right, Rachel, because now that you said that, sometimes you need someone to actually point something out to you before you even remember stuff. Because I have felt extremely the opposite of anger ever since I released that thing. So, the spirit. So, this is a good example of if you have any depression right now or anytime, if you are low energy, it could be very well like a health issue. So obviously I'm not a doctor or psychologist or whatever, so don't take this as medical advice, but that is something to consider. Okay, that you might have something on you that is dragging you down. And then it's like, if they weren't dragging you down, you wouldn't be having this situation. So I cannot tell you, like, even this morning, I got up, and normally I get up, grab a cup of coffee, and I sit in front of YouTube and see what's going on. Not this morning. This morning, I literally grabbed my coffee and I sat on the couch like this. There was storming and stuff, and I just sat. Lucy was hanging out. I was watching her. I actually got on my phone and I was reading comments. I enjoyed, like, I don't normally do that right away in the morning, so I enjoyed like reading comments, and I was commenting, and I just didn't turn YouTube on, which is a miracle. Also, I'm trying to just separate a little bit, but I didn't even feel the pull to do it. And I think when you're feeling angry, you're looking for some kind of relief, right? You're looking for and you're feeling sad, you're feeling anxious, you're looking for some kind of relief. So you go on and you're like, help me. I know I do that. So I didn't feel like I needed any this morning. I just sat here, like, just being. It was amazing. I got to do that more often. But my psyche allowed me to do it more often because I didn't have this thing pulling on me. Okay. So that being said, in the video, anybody can do this. So then this is another really great comment that we got from this conversation. I took a picture of this because I want to read it. So she goes by, which is hilarious, Booger Not. Hello, Booger Not. I'd like to know your real name, but that's funny. Booger Not, Naught. Anyway, so this is an amazing story from that. So she said, I prayed to be saved from scary entities my whole life. No benevolent beings ever showed up until Jesus did once. She put that in all caps. When I was in my 30s, he appeared like a shining star on a cross. Too bright to see his face, but I could feel him roll his eyes as he said, do it yourself. Isn't that amazing? And then she said, it sounds harsh, but I felt instantly empowered and remembered, of course, I can do it myself. He seemed so fed up with being pestered by me. Oh my gosh. You guys, if that is not the best learning, okay? Oh my gosh. You really should take a picture of that right now so that you can reread that. And then my response was, oh my goodness. What a great story. Way to go, Jesus. I mean, is that not the best? He seems so fed up with me with being pestered by me. He's like, just do it yourself. So I mean, I'm even crying a little bit. What a beautiful message. What an absolutely beautiful message. I keep looking outside because it's getting dark again. It's cloudy and stormy. Is that not the most beautiful message? And it came from Booger Not. Thank you, Booger Not. But it really came from Jesus. And I so appreciate you sharing that. Because it just makes so much sense. How much are we bugging them right now to help take care of things? And they're like, Do it yourself. Do it yourself. Stand up in your power. Stand in your power. Stop it. Stop bugging us. Oh my gosh. We are gonna be talking about that for a while. Book or not, thank you. We are gonna be talking about that for a while. Oh my goodness. Anyway, so do it yourself. All you have to do is say, all you have to do, you don't need rods. You can say, you don't even need rods to confirm if you have an entity attached to you. Just say, if there is an entity attached to me, I demand that you disconnect from me now. Do not connect to anybody else, anything, any animal, anything else on earth, and go directly to the light. You deserve to be in the light. Go directly to the light, because they don't deserve to be hanging out on you. So you can demand them to stop it. Stop it. That's standing in your power. Okay. They do not, it's hard enough being on earth. The last thing we need is people sucking on our energy, right? So, I mean, I just love this journey. And the thing is this journey wouldn't be the same if we weren't doing this together, all of us. So for those of you who are here and have been here and are new, thank you for being a part of this community, because it's amazing. Okay, so let's go on. I think that was all I had. Here are my notes for today. I took some notes. All right, so let's, and speaking of Jesus, this is the message. So for those of you who are new, real quick, I use a pendulum, and it look with what would be maybe called a pendulum map. Okay, that looks like that. So when you use a pendulum and you're connected, your spirit guides have lowered their energy enough and you've raised your energy enough for them to communicate. Now, if you're like, I don't know how to do that, I do have a video where I specifically went over this. Okay, I will post it right here. Okay, the ghosts will be here. That video will be here. Okay, so so I would use a pendulum like something like this, something pointy. I just talked about this yesterday, making sure it's pointy. Okay, this was made by somebody in the community. Isn't that beautiful? We will have, we're working on a business directory because there's so many creators, and not only creators, but people who have spiritual gifts that they're sharing, people who do birth charts, all that kind of stuff in this community. So I want people, as much as you can, to spend your dollars supporting small businesses. So we're going to do that. So anyways, that's the pendulum. And so my spirit guides can give me direct messages. Okay. So I do that every morning here during Coffee with Karen. All right. Which is Sunday through Thursday. So they've been giving us a lot of political messages, like it's coming, don't worry, make sure you're safe. Things are going to change, all this kind of stuff. Okay. So today though, I said, don't give us a message about Jack Smith. I mean, we're done hearing about Jack Smith. We'll just wait for Jack. We're waiting for Jack. So today they said, oh, leave it to Jesus. Leave it to Jesus. And I said, well, we'll leave what to Jesus? And that's what they said. F45. Leave what to Jesus? F45. Which, this is an amazing message for me because I am getting a very different understanding of Jesus, because my background is not a good one when it comes to Jesus. And it's not Jesus's fault, it's Catholic Church's fault. So I'm really appreciating these messages from Jesus, because I'm appreciating that the Catholic Church, people who are Christians, I'm appreciating them more. My limited belief of Christianity is that they believe, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, this is my limited belief, is that they believe that's the only way to go to the other side. Okay, or go to heaven. Like, if you don't believe in Jesus, you're not going to go to heaven. I don't believe that. I think that's ridiculous, personally. But so I've always struggled with that. So I've always kind of dissed Jesus, because that feels very narcissistic to me. That feels very bullying to me to say, oh, you're not going to go to heaven if you don't believe in Jesus is the only way to go. So, it's just been, that's just personal experience. And, we each have a million billion experiences that lead to whatever you believe, right? So I love that this spiritual journey of mine is opening up my consciousness to Jesus more than it ever has, and my respect for him. So he's not a him anymore, but so if I did actually do, in case you've missed this, if you're new, I have where we actually, it was in December, it was right around Christmas, where I had you guys asked questions to Jesus and Jesus came in and answered questions. I will post those videos on this side over here. I think there might have been 3 parts to that though. So anyways, I'll post them in the description too. All right. So leave it to Jesus, you guys. Great message of letting go. It's letting go. I personally think we still need to stand in our power, like Jesus told Booger Not. Just do it. Stop asking us. Stop pestering us. But this is a reminder to leave it to the divine. Ask for what you want and then let it go. Ask for what you want and then let it go. And follow your intuition. My intuition right now is saying send postcards to faux news so that they start to get the message. That's what my intuition is telling me to do. Your intuition might be telling you to do something different. Okay, last but not least, let's see what the Akashic Tarot tells us today. I'm excited to use this. So this does not have I will list this below. We have an affiliate link. If you want to support the channel, it's a nice little way to do that if you were going to buy them anyways. So this does not have a booklet with it, but it's got enough information on each card. So what is the first card? Inner peace. Inner peace. You are letting outside circumstances create turmoil and frustration within you. Remember, you always have the power to choose your response. Let inner peace attract a higher vibrational outcome for you. Love it. All right. That might have been the message they wanted us to have. That doesn't mean I can go back to watching YouTube now and feel inner peace. Probably because I got that entity off of me. But the minute I stop feeling that peace, like I told you this morning, I just woke up and I was like, oh, I'm just going to sit in peace. I don't do that very often, and I'm going to do it way more often. But you can still pay attention, So I think we're all learning that is how can we still pay attention to what's going on and still be an activist to what's going on, but also not steal our inner peace, All right. Do you guys have any other messages for us besides that one? Besides the inner peace one? Let me just ask. That might have been it. Do you guys have any other, did I say the prayer today? I've said it already. So I've said it already today, but I close my aura to all but my higher self, the God consciousness, my guides and guardians, and ask Archangel Michael to please protect this channel so it's only of the light. Amen. So do you guys, hello. I've already talked to them this morning because I did the message with them. So do you guys have any other messages besides the inner peace message from this deck? Oh, you do? Okay. All right. Okay. So this is going to be a collective. I asked them yesterday if I need to always repeat to them that when I'm talking to the community, do I need to tell them to pull in all the spirit teams from everybody in the community? And they said I don't have to repeat that, which is kind of nice. I will hear just because you'll hear it then, but when I'm working with this message, I want them to know I'm looking for a collective message, not just for me, so I don't have to repeat it, which is good. Okay. They just dropped a whole bunch. Oh boy. All right. Let's see if any of these, I've got 7 in front of me. I'll do it fast. Okay. Are any of the 7 the messages you want us to have? Okay. Let's start from the left. The first one. Yes. Number 2. No. Number 3, this one on top. Do you want that one? No. Number 4 underneath number 3. No. Number 5. Okay, so 1 and 5 so far. I got to move them, otherwise I'll forget. 1 and 5. And then what about 6? No. And what about 7? No. Okay, so they dropped, just in case somebody's new to using Oracle, they dropped like 4 or 5 of them together because they wanted to have that 1 in there. Okay. So if you're not sure, like if you don't have dowsing rods to confirm that, if you get a dropped pile, then you can use your own intuition and just go through them and say, which is the one that's resonating with me the most today? And then you can trust your own intuition that that's the message they're giving you. Okay, that's what Jesus is saying. Do it yourself. Like, I don't need to ask, If I would have read them, it's a little more complicated, I think, when it's a community message for the community, because, how am I supposed to know what's going to resonate the most? You know what I mean? So I'm not that, not that powerful at all. Not that like that, not Jesus powerful. Okay, so here is the first message. I will show you the image. See if you feel anything there. Trying to get the glare off of there. It's a little darker set. All the cards are orange, purple, black, which I think is cool. They're all really consistent. Now, somebody did ask in a comment, I'm not sure I responded. They asked if I always use Oracle, and mostly Oracle. I do have one deck of traditional tarot. Well, it's not the traditional tarot, but it is tarot cards. And every once in a while, I'll pull those out. Oh, see it through. See it through. Okay. All right. You don't always finish what you start and then talk badly to yourself because of it. Break the karmic pattern by seeing a project through to the end and then be proud of what you accomplished. Now, this could be very much individual messages, but I think it's also, because I've been asking for messages about this, it's a collective message about what's going on in the world right now. So see it through, empaths. We got to keep standing up for ourselves. We need these narcissists to have their awakening, like we just talked about, okay? So, but this is also a very good an individual message. Okay, here's the second one. Oh, yes. All right. I'm going to do this clearing today. Thank you for the reminder. You'll know what I'm talking about. We talked about this yesterday. I will do a clearing. It will come out this afternoon on victimhood mindset. Ha, 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 ha. We talked about this yesterday. So I would guess that every single human being has victimhood energy from a trauma. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a deep trauma. Anything where you felt like you were not treated fairly. Somebody even said something to you or whatever. And we have generational trauma. We talked about that yesterday. Stuff that's just in our cellular. And so you feel the world is against you, and this will only cause you to attract more negative results. Stop the blame and take responsibility for your happiness. Only then will abundance start to flow. Okay. So I do think we can release. Look at how beautiful she is. She is a little caught in a web, though, isn't she? She is caught in a web. So if you're feeling caught in a web, I will do a clearing. Maybe I'll just do it right after this, even with my bedhead. A clearing for clearing victimhood energy. Okay. So then you could come back, frequently and clear layers of victimhood energy. Okay. Remember, you might have, because of the ancestral stuff, you might have layer and layer and layer and layer of it. So the more you can clear, I know I need to keep clearing it. So, and the more we can clear this, the more the empaths are going to be able to stand up in their power and allow then the narcissists, the bullies, to rise in their power and have a spiritual awakening. So really, really good conversation today, I think. Thank you. for leading it. For me, it was a good, for my own personal growth, it was a very good conversation. So, all right. Well, I will see you. What are we doing tonight? What am I doing tonight? Oh, I think I want to do something for the full moon tomorrow. It's an eclipse tomorrow. I want to do something for that because it's big energy tomorrow on the 20th. So tonight we're going to do something to prepare for that. Okay. All right. And so we post, if you're new, this Coffee with Karen always posts at noon. And then we post something at 7 p.m. Okay, so that's what I'll post tonight. And then in between, I will do the clearing. So, all right, have a great day. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.